Hello Total War Gamers and welcome to my channel. My name is Deacon and I'm gonna ask you, would you play Warhammer 2? That's a question I'll try to help get answered for yourself as we play through our review campaign of Warhammer 2 with Lord Mazdamundi and the Lizardmen. So we're gonna have loads of battles, lots of fun, and also do check out my other review campaign series because I'm doing the other 3 races as well. There's going to be a link in the description down below. And if indeed this is the kind of content you do enjoy, give the video a like, stay subscribed, and hit the subscribe button basically. So in any case, I'm gonna stuff my gameplay with questions to discuss, as I like to make this an interactive campaign and basically use the playthrough to discuss the features and the game mechanics that we discover while we play through it. But I'm still gonna ask at the end of this video whether you played this or not. But the final judgment I won't give until we're way further into all 4 of the review campaigns. So I'm pretty sure if you stick around and watch the video to the end, you should be able to decide for yourself whether or not you want to play Warhammer 2. And myself, I've played the Total War series since the beginning with Shogun 1 in the year 2000. Since then, that was way before Steam even started tracking playing hours. So I can say that I've easily clocked over 10,000 hours, but the exact I can't be sure of. However, I think you can trust me to be able to point out the things that you'd like to know and like to consider for your gameplay or regarding your gameplay. Also, do participate in the review of this campaign. I'll try and make it as interactive as possible. The reason why I'm doing this style of review campaign is to create an opportunity to actually discuss and then in depth. Because if I were to create a single video, throw that at you, stuff you my opinion and leave it at that, then you can't really go into stuff as deep as you can when multiple people give different angles and see things illustrated as you play along. So I'm not going to judge, I'm not going to rate. Instead, I'm going to leave the judgment up to you. And then what is important though is that we discuss the game on its own merits. So this is just as much Warhammer as it is Total War and vice versa. So if you're a Total War veteran, then this is one thing to consider, that it's Warhammer as well, and that is a different kind of world and background, and this is a blend which is always going to be different than straight, let's put it that way. So that's one thing, and the other thing is that CA of course has wanted to keep the option open for the Mortal Empires campaign, merging the 2 games together, and then you can't go on a different engine and different game mechanics altogether. So they put some restrictions on what you can expect, and we have to factor it in and keep it in mind. Well, you already feel that we have loads to discuss, and if you already own the game, do give a shout out and let me know. But for now, we're gonna crack on, get started. Now, we are in our capital of Axatl. If I kill that pronunciation, just shout out in the comments and put in phonetic spelling how to pronounce this correctly. And I'm just not gonna repeat that request, but please do help me out there. These are faction effects. There's one debuff, the rest are buffs, and usually if it's buffs, it's all good. It's hard to notice when playing at this faction because you're not playing another faction, so the fact that your right costs are down, I don't know if you're gonna truly feel a lot of that, but anyway, let's go through them. The diplomatic relations are a -10 with most other factions. I myself, I'm a humanoid. I don't mind showing you all those races and play through them, but the majority of the humanoids, I guess, do not like this cold blood kind of race. I guess that's the base of that, which of course we'll discuss lore later, but if lore is your thing, that's one thing I'd like to know. For some people lore is important, for others it's not, and let me know where you stand. Construction costs -50% for star chamber buildings. We'll have to see what that is. Right cost -30%. It's I think an interesting one. Slan mage priest capacity +1. Alright. There's of course also another lord, and he does not get those specific buffs, so you'll have to keep this in mind. This is more like a magic oriented faction build, so to say. Upkeep minus 50% for temple guards units, so obviously we're gonna stuff ourselves with that and see if we can get any more reduction with other faction traits or other kind of traits. By the way, I'm playing on very hard for campaign and for battles, both without time limit, and well, not that you ever run out of time anyway, but there's no battle realism because that basically puts it into legendary and you can no longer pause it. I'm a gaming dad. I need to be able to pause every now and then. I'm married as well, so if you're in the same position, I'd like to know and meet other people who are also there. The Geomantic Web is the unique well, attribute of the race. This also, of course, applies to the Krogar, so those two are the same. These two do differ. Special spawnings. There will be periodic missions to allow access to powerful blessed variants of certain units. We've seen that with the blessed trebuchet, and this unit's going to be the certain unit, but then with a buff. And then suitable beasts for any kind of task. They may lose control and charge ahead. Well, we've seen that before. So with that out of the way, let's crack on and let's get Lord Mazdamundi started.
Since the days of creation, the reptiles have dominated the jungle continent of Lustria. The ignorant call the creatures Lizardmen. The wise know them as defenders of the world. In ages past, the Old Ones had a plan. But then the stellar gates collapsed, the Old Ones fled, and demons flooded the mortal plane. Led by the Slann, the Lizardmen fought the demons that surged across Lustria. Yet, it was the elves that created the Great Vortex. A swirling maelstrom that siphoned the world of chaos, withering demonkind. The world was saved, but the vortex endures only because it is bolstered by the power of the Slann, via the Great Warding. If the warding should fail, the demons will return.
The forked tongue of Sotek hangs low in the sky. The Slann have felt it. Now I see it. Brighter, clearer. Its hiss disturbs the winds of magic. Look, dark rags, the sacred plaques. One prophecy shines above all others. Vortex of the warm blood. But the full meaning cannot be deciphered. If our master will not wake, we journey to the city of the sun.
Now let's see if we can catch this. Lord Mazdamundi is ready. The geomantic web is being mentioned, which is basically like another vortex on top of the vortex. So the high elves saved the world with the vortex, and now the lizardmen have done that another time over by creating another kind of force field around the world, basically, that holds it together. So if it weren't for these guys, then things would be lost. Now there are warm bloods, worshippers of the ancient enemy, the colony of Skaggy. So there's like the old ones and the worm bloods, Skaggy, Lustria. It all refers to the counter forces of well, basically we get good and evil. The chaos is the enemy. So obviously the Dark Elves and the Skaven are like the bad guys, and what you learn here is that the Lizardmen are part of the good guys. Basically, Lord Mazdamundi is, if we compare to the Star Wars universe, this is like a hut with force powers, who's manipulated his own force field around the world, basically. And but they are referred to as protectors and defenders. So if you want to get a hint of what they're meant to be like, and supposedly also meant to play like, then these are like the defensive turtling faction that uses the force, comparing it with the geomantic web to hold things together, and they're the counter to chaos. So obviously we have malices with other races, but expect the chaos to be amongst the worst, really. And that in this game, of course, also involves mostly involves the Dark Elves. So we may get toe to toe with basically everyone, including the High Elves. Well, we're actually trying to save the same world. We're like the primary primary force, primary magic wins oriented kind of faction, while they are the highly developed, more articulate magic users in the opposite direction. But this primary force it's quite brutal. So we have brute force on in terms of units and monsters, but we also have like a more brute application of the magic. And of course, in terms of lore, there's only so much you can do. If you're a lore person, myself, I am a tabletop collector, not so much a gamer, not so much a painter, a collector. I've collected 10,000 points of Bretonia. I never got around to actually paint it and play with it, but it did get me into the Warhammer world, basically. So the funny thing is, if you consider that the Lizardmen have been around for ages, and then when you get on the campaign map, and this is going to be as new as it is for me as it is for you. I'm loading this for the first time, which is also why it takes a little while longer. But the High Elves I did. There's 2 more playthroughs already up there. One with Morathi, one with Tyrion. So there's going to be a link in the description for you to have a look at that. But what happens if you once you start, your settlements are just basically like villages. So for the High Elves, being as highly developed as they are, to start with a village, and I'm expecting the same for us here with Lord Mazdamundi, who's like the force powerhouse in the world. It's going to be interesting to see where we start. And I've probably... Did I kill the voice? Now, we're going to just read through this. Now this is actually interesting information, because it shows us where other factions are without the fog of war turn on. It's gonna turn on as soon as we get back here and in our mini settlement. And there you go. Now let me review the sound options right away, because I didn't hear any talking over there, which is kind of weird, because speech is on, effects are on, music is on, master is on. I did enable the subtitles, but that is nothing strange. So I'm scratching my beard here. I'm actually a beard person. If you have a beard, do shout out, let me know. But this is odd. Anyway, first thing that I think I should explain and let you know is that I'm generally a curious person. I like to figure things out. I like to meet people, new people, and learn learn about them. And I can start a conversation over a piercing in your lip or a tattoo or whatever, and then learn about people's past and all that kind of stuff just in random meetings, and I love that kind of stuff. So for me also, these videos are a way to discuss games I love with the viewers, and the best thing you can do to reward me is by putting your thoughts in the comment section. I'm gonna be happy when you subscribe. Please do. If you like this kind of content, leave a like, and if you want to follow through with the rest of my content, the subscription is there. Is what's there for. But in other words, if you want to give me back for what I invest into this, participate in discussing this with me and others. So most primary question the review should be about is whether or not this is an improvement, really. Compared to Warhammer 1, that I think would be the proper comparison. So that's what I'd like you to orient your comments towards. And also I'm gonna focus on discussing gameplay, because this could be like an animation movie. The cinematics can be awesome, but it's still a game. So that's what I think a game should be judged on, based upon. If you have strong feelings about the graphics, please do mention. If you think they're awful, free to mention. However, do keep in mind that opinions are just that. There's no right or wrong, it's just your opinion, and somebody else is going to have the opposite, but be respectful of each other, and then it saves me loads of time sorting out through comments in the comment section over there. But yeah, do feel free to point out your thoughts, because that's what it's for. And finally, if you're new to the Total War series, do point it out. You might be actually evaluating whether or not you're going to buy this. You might be a Warhammer veteran but new to Total War, or vice versa, Total War veteran new to Warhammer. Yeah, I'm just curious where people stand as we start here. Now, enough of that. I'm gonna focus on the gameplay and talk through this part of the startup, which is the first mission that's going to reap us a reward of 500 treasury, which is one of the basic currency that we have. Now, there's another mission issued right away, which involves Trespasses. Now, we've already picked up at the launch that the Force of Chaos, which are of course the Norskins, are the counter to our faction. There's another currency, the Ancient Plaques, that were also mentioned in the introduction video. So those two give a lot of hints as to what the gameplay is geared towards. So if you've seen other introduction videos, you'll notice that each faction has its own 3 unique kind of currency. In our case, the Ancient Plaques are what we need to collect in runes to progress our Vortex campaign. Then there is the regular treasury, and here are our rights, which are funded also by just regular gold. So in comparison, it appears we have one type of currency less compared to the other 3 factions in the game, which makes it a little bit more straightforward perhaps. Also, if this is the more defensive faction, then that plays to the same scheme. Now here are the Skaggy with 20 units and a settlement, with probably also a garrison. Obviously, Mouth of the Fallen Gods with 6 units in garrison. So not the kind of army we could fight. We could recruit here. We can also sit here, see if they walk towards us, and try and fight us in our own territory. We have a solar engine mounted on a Bastillodon. I'm not going to review each of them. There's 2 skink cohorts, there's 2 Saurus warriors, and there's 1 temple guards. Now these guys have reduced upkeep in our army with Lord Mazdamundi. So in terms of recruitment, they should be very fun to focus on, but right now we can't really recruit any. Now javelins, of course, do have a limited range compared to archers, and these guys are more expensive to recruit, also more expensive to in terms of upkeep. So we'll have to consider what the upgrades will be once we build our next tier of recruitment building. So this is the spawn pool, gives us skink cohort and javelins. We're gonna go into skirmishes. So the skirmishing line is what we get the better units in the second tier, which should be soon. So I'm not going to recruit any skirmishes now and just rely on melee infantry. So that's out of the way then. We do need more troops, so it's going to be the cheapo skink cohorts. Let's see in terms of research. Here is our research tree, which appears to start over here at the top and then work its way down. It starts here at the left and works its way to the right. That's what all these interesting kind of arrows seem to point out. Now we'll have to identify each and every building just to see what it unlocks. And it may be a thing to actually gear your game towards. So right now, for example, we have only 1 building to upgrade, and that is this one. Oh no, it's not entirely true. We will be able to unlock certain tech with our first building, and that could be the Beast Lair, Tablet of Beasts, speed buff for Pterodon. This is going to be melee defense for Saurus units, ammunition for skinks, trade buffs, growth buffs, hero action, income, and recruitment costs. Now growth is one of the things that do play out throughout the entire campaign, so same goes for trade actually, but there's more dynamics that affect that growth. However, if you get that buff started from the beginning, it's going to be helpful throughout. So the Grand Plaza would be one to go for me, and then at least it lets us recruit for a while until we are needed to recruit anything else. And growth also does play into what you normally build at the start of any campaign. Normally, advanced military, defense, basic military, resource, gold mining pit, gold mine, gold smelter. This is a landmark, not interesting until tier 5, and I'm not really finding any growth type of buildings. Well, we do need the plaza. I would expect that to be an infrastructure building. Grand Plaza is in tier 3. Now we won't get there until at least another while, so this is not very interesting to go for right now. The skink favelas, skink foraging camp, that one is interesting. So we're going to build this, and then you'll see that there's a attack that's being unlocked by that as well, because here we need to build the skink foraging camp. So basically the most basic stuff will be in the top left corner, which I guess kind of makes sense, and then it gets more complex and up in tiers in terms of recruitment or construction tier once you move down, because here we are at the Pterodons, which is like high-end stuff. So it's probably gonna develop at a diagonal kind of way, so we'll have to keep that in mind. Now we've reviewed that. Let's now take a look at diplomacy. Now, diplomacy never really was the strongest point of any Total War game.
Greetings, stranger.
Mechanics have differed quite a bit
Fine.
back and forth in between different kinds of there is war with the Vampire Coast, nice. They are friendly with us, but well, it stops there. So basically, we've gotten the one trade agreement that we can get. Neural colonies, oh, they're going to be buddies. Not really interested in a defensive alliance. We'll finish these guys off and then have room for picking a fight with whoever we want, rather than having them dictate our next fight for us. So I like that flexibility. And of course, we're also going to upgrade our city to a temple. Let's be temple precinct. Then in terms of heroes, there's not anything we can recruit right now. We can recruit a lord, however. He would be cunning if we'd go for this guy, arrogant if we would go for this guy, and pompous. Well, these do sound like they're not so very positive. However, an enemy leadership in the local region of -4 is just going to make people rout faster. And psychology charge, I think we've got quite the buffs already in that area. But this would actually be very interesting to have a debuff to leadership in the local region. And he's going to increase our upkeep and perhaps also create... Oh yeah, each additional lord is going to hit the army upkeep with a plus 15%. But there we go. We have that guy over here now as well. And we'll have him look around for thingies on the map to inspect and to research for plaques, basically. I'm just gonna call them plaques. Ancient plaque details. APDs, now plaques is fine. So, in terms of rights, we're just gonna have to save some money and unlock these guys with different kinds of conditions. This will be the Slan Mage Priest. Interesting. We need to construct the Star Chamber building, and then we can recruit them every 10 turns or so. So this is like plenty. We just have to get this. Winning 3 battles unlocks the right of ferocity. From then on we can buy it with gold and enjoy it during a 5-turn period every 25 turns. And this enables attrition for foreign armies. Well, I thought they should have that regardless anyway. And increases our ambush chance. Well, we can use this if we spec towards it also in other kind of things and really be effective ambushes. It's just a very big if. This one's extremely expensive, but it gives you 15 turns of feral cold ones as an army ability that you can spawn in battle basically. And they fight in that battle only, and then they're like despawned. If that's your thing, I like to have my monsters rank up and I'd like to keep them with me. But then if you're just walking in loads of cash, well, it can be a nice addition. To be honest, the only thing I think is interesting is the Slan Mage Priest, just as a, I'd say, a continuous thing to have. But you build a building and then it doesn't even cost any money. And the rest, this is +2, yeah, okay, +2 experience. It's this. There are minor, they'll have minor impact on your game, and you're not really going to gear your game towards the rights. Now we build the strength of our geomantic web, and we use commandments in our settlements. So I think we'll probably have to build to conquer a province until we can do anything with that. And I think we're done in all respects. Now I'd like to see if we have a hero or any kind of priest or special character, but there doesn't seem to be any. There's no mention of it here either. So let's just crack on to the next turn. It goes fast enough, but it's still at the start of the game. So is the third mission. We have to research technology, and we're gonna give 500 for it. We can research because we've just completed the building, and what else is there? The temple precinct we're already building. Trespasses, we're gonna get them once we have an army, and this is the one we just got. So we're researching. Bear with us, mission giver. Now these guys are recruiting, but they now have non-aggression with us. Let's adventure with this guy and inspect stuff. Let's just go here. Can we do anything? No, Skaven is right on top of us. Cancel move. That is information. So we now have discovered Skaven. Maybe a bit too early, but anyway. Can we recruit anything else? No, still cohorts. We've just run out our money, which I think has everything to do with that Lord moving about, but anyway. We didn't meet any new factions. The rest still hate our gods just as much, so we're there. I don't know if it's stupid or smart to actually go out and discover a Skaven. They might actually attack us now, declare war on us, we'll see. So there is obviously a learning curve to the game, and that I think is an interesting topic for discussion. Like I said, this guy is gonna try and attack us now. If we wouldn't have discovered Skaven over here, would we have seen them moving about? That I wonder. Now, where can I see the region details? Let's do the market peaks first, and then do... We can't do it. I think we'll have to wait till the next turn, but then we can discover this and that. And here we still... Can we recruit anymore? No, oh, we're out of money, so we need to go and kill them now. So the army is moving out. Our lord is going to run around and do discovery, and we need to lose units to save money and capture stuff to gain more money. Alright. Can you have a cookie on this to keep my selection preference as it is? Guess not. That'd be nice. I mean, there's a ton of different interface improvements, I guess. The UI has been improved in multiple ways, but I think it's up for discussion. I'd like to know from you how you feel about the UI improvements or changes. Okay, we have successfully completed a mission, we've gained some money, and now Star Chamber, yeah, I want that. Foraging Camp. Oh, we've done that, okay, yeah. Oh wow, and we've received more money because we completed another building that was in the same section of requirements. Search a ruined settlement for treasure, that's what I just did. I went too fast. Now let's go ahead and do that. And treasure hunt, and investigate the shrine, and we get chaos corruption everywhere. Thank you. Next turn I'm gonna go there. Crappity crap. Now these guys, they probably know that we're here and coming. I have no interest in attacking their whole stack of stuff, so I'm just gonna go and walk around, see if I can get there. Attack somewhere else, or make them draw them out and attack them piecemeal. So learning curve, Each faction has its own mechanics, and I'm curious as to how you guys feel that the level of challenge is at really. We are being attacked by mostly a Chaos Army with mostly Chaos Marauders, some Horsemen and Warhounds, and then more Marauders, 2 Generals, and we have Temple Guards, no special agents. We do have a Bastillodon with a solar engine that can do a nice amount of damage, also from range with special ammunition that it also does magic damage and flaming attacks. However, they do come with a chariot and 5 skirmish ranged units, cavalry units I mean. These are skirmishes, aren't they? Yeah. So the hounds, 3 of them, and then 2 skirmishes and a chariot. We're facing quite a challenge here really. So going for that Lord early was just too early. Couldn't deal with the extra upkeep, and we'll just simply have to beat them. And I prefer to actually be talking with you about the game right now, but the balance bar is not in our favor. I need a focus, I think. We're defending, I'm supposing we're the yellow scene. And we'll have to see how they perform. Now, as I said, I think this is more the third lane kind of faction. I suppose that also applies to battle, that we're the defensive counter-strike kind of faction, that you draw an army in, take on their the first initial onslaught, and then strike back around the flanks and that kind of stuff. The Bastillodon can go into rage and basically stampede all around, and then Lord Mazdamundi is of course a magic user, but he hasn't ranked up yet, so I haven't been able to give him any extra spells, and as a vanilla lord, I don't know if he's going to be able to actually use our pool of magic and do much. We'll have to see. Perhaps there was the option to retreat that I haven't tried. I meant to play this kind of game and draw them out from the settlement, fight them in the open, away from the garrison, beat them, and then hopefully still have strength to beat them back, but we'll have to see. In any case, we have a legendary lord who's not going to die. If we get defeated, we probably withdraw with most of our units killed. If so, no problem there, because we'll have money once more. And I don't think that they'll be able to defeat us in our capital with a new lord. I'm kind of happy with the magic that we have. We're not going to have too many spells anyway. And I expect them to also be on a counter. Now, this I think is a nice hill. We have light infantry, which I think is nice for absorbing enemy charges. And we have skirmish units that I'm not going to have on skirmish. Or actually, we will let them skirmish and pull them back once they're in. I don't expect we can hide our Stagedon, because it's not a Stagedon, a Stillodon. But anyway, we're not going to be able to hide it. It should be able to fire over our troops though, so I'm going to keep it as artillery in the rear for the moment. Keep it on fire at will, they see it anyway. I'm going to toggle guard mode so it doesn't charge out at anything. Now the Temple Guard is the only kind of elite thing that we have, and that has the bonus of reduced upkeep, so I'm gonna try and keep that alive. So the slightly stronger melee infantry I'm gonna put at both flanks, try and flank around with them once I can. I'm gonna keep my lord in the middle. We get harmonic convergence, which is nice. and regeneration, which is also nice. So we're gonna use his magic points. That finishes our deployment, so we're gonna start the battle and wait for them to come to us. I'm gonna triple speed because otherwise it's gonna take forever. Now actually our Bastillodon is hidden, so they're right now strolling about trying to find us out. And where do we have... I just selected you. Can you keep that firing arc on? I'm gonna turn about a little bit and give you field of fire straight at their line of approach. We're probably gonna draw them in sooner once they come over here. And us being the tropical faction, and those guys being the Norskins basically that they are, I would expect us to have like a terrain buff mechanic that Medieval 2 had, for example. You know, desert, bonus in desert, and so on. Now we're gonna start firing. There you go. And I'm gonna go to normal speed. Can you please fire? Or do you not have visibility on them? Or does it just take you forever to charge? Okay, now our skirmishes. Ow. It's all good and well, but we are hitting trees. If we would have known that, we would have gone a different way. So I'm gonna take him off skirmish. Wow. Chaos is using magic against us, so right away let's replenish our units. And are you still running back? No, you're not. So you're being charged by... Alright, now there has to be an interface option that allows us to disable... Let's go a little bit slower. Oh, where was it? I want the trees out of the way. Why I can't find it now? Where are all the tooltips? Anyway, they've engaged us basically, so I'm gonna draw out. Most of fighting is over here, and I'm gonna regen here as well. So let our Saurus warriors move out. The temple guards are gonna flank around, charge those. These guys are in melee, however, I'm gonna bring forward my Saurus warriors. And how many do we have of these? Cold-blooded regeneration on self or ally. But let's put him in melee and see what that does. We're gonna be flanked by hounds, and what the crap, I'm gonna use that unit to take on the hounds and push in here. Temple guards, push in. Right now just fighting back the mounted units that they brought, and the majority of their main army is still on its way. Just what they did, I can't I can't defend or scold. It's of course stupid. We're gonna try and kill off whatever's in here. I think they didn't wait for their reinforcements, and we're gonna go full out on the attack right now. So the skinks move up. Anything that moves, move up. We have one of our own units engaging the enemy lord. Let's see if we can kill the chariot in melee with our Bastillodon. And the temple guard switch to the units that are charging in right now. The skin cohort can go there. These guys should go there. And you engage these. Now there's this single unit that's spinning our two of our units. Well, these guys are being engaged. I'm gonna try and push through with both of them, because their army concerns me more right now than their lord. He's gonna be one of the leftovers that we deal with once we've dealt with the rest, basically. And I want them, of course, to deal with well, no, you're not. Chaos Warhounds. Okay, I'll face you. Oh, the chariots over here now. So the javelins can maybe throw at them. But I think my units are a little bit too clumped up right now. So I want my heavier stuff in here. These guys are charging at them. They're already wavering. Yeah. Now I have my Saurus warriors in here, and I'm gonna charge at that. Not that it's going to do anything. You come back here. And now these marauders are broken, so the skin cohort can move on. Ignore what you have. They're even routing as well. So as we continue to keep pushing up, we're also gonna flank basically the rest of the enemy units. And oh, we're still at the slow speed. Okay, what the heck. So right now their strength is pretty intact, but their morale is pretty much wavering, which of course is awesome. So we're gonna hunt these with us kings and shoot at them with our Bastillodon. And now Mazdamundi, let's buff these guys up. They're hurting. They're gonna return to the fight regardless. And I want you in here as well. Now Temple Guard over here. You guys are there. We're now facing a fresh unit of Marauder Horsemen. And we'll have to complete our encirclement, our Bastillodon. I need you here. And we can move them around the flanks. And actually now our morale is hurting more than theirs. But we have them on the run here. And the Bastillodon is gonna come here and fight at their flanks. The chariot I consider in the same league as it looks like they have two chariots as the Lord. It's something that I'm gonna accept that is there and try and save it for last. This of course is hurting our morale, but I'm just gonna push through, keep pushing. We are on the counteroffensive. And we basically need to surround them. So anything that routes, awesome. Just keep running, because I'm going for full encirclement. Not on these Chaos Marauders though, who have just returned from routing. Okay, come here and buff our units here. So we're going to have to push and keep pushing. They're gonna lose morale, and now these guys, they can fire on the last javelins on the Marauder Horsemen. Once we've killed off the main body of their army, then I'm pretty certain that the rest of the army is gonna rout as well. So right now I'm going for the kill here. Lose their... and now these guys are also coming back, so I'm switching attention to those. And of course you're not the best unit to deal with them. Chaos Marauders, aren't you? Shit scared. Now you guys, I need you on... this is Amirola Chieftain. He's a single unit. So most their regular infantry has now routed, and we're surrounding their lords and chariots with the rest of our units. So the Bastiladon is going to try and deal with this Chaos Chariot. He should probably solo, and I should pull my skinks out of battle before they actually rout. Now Mazdamundi gonna throw back healing on our guys in the melee here. These guys should rout these warriors. And Welsh Skip Taker is quite the nasty guy. It's just taking us long. So I'm gonna bring this unit about, let these guys deal with that, and now we have routed the Chaos Chariot. Unfortunately is not going to be hurt by our missile attack. I'm again way too clumped up, and we're being fired with arrows. There is something going on with the movement here though. They are not moving. They're kind of like stuck here. They're unable to disengage and draw them out. There are 3 units all sitting right on top of each other, which is very, very strange. Anyway, I'm gonna pull out my melee force, spread them out, and deal with more units, and let Mazdamundi and the Bastiladon deal with their lords. And then even then it's still a close battle. The balance bar is way in our favor, and of course we are going to win this, but in terms of morale balance, it's a tricky thing. Our units keep routing and then keep coming back, and where is their lord now? Oh, here it is. No. Did he already die? Chaos Marauders. My warriors are rallying. Yes. Mazdamundi. Now I haven't seen any notification of their lord dying. Oh, here he is, but he's routing. Are we gonna kill him yet? So now they're routing. Yeah, that is victory for battle. Can you please kill them off then? Because we are winning, but not by much. This is really just a morale victory. We've beaten them because we've maneuvered, and that is of course important, but when we get off this map, they will still be here. Enemy lord is dead. Yeah, I'm gonna at least go for that and try and kill their lord, because they're just way too much of a pain to keep lying about. And he shoots at them as he gives chase, which is fun. What else is there? Let's see if these guys can catch those. No, of course not, but anyway. Yes, and so. Go, attack that. He's actually... Is he in melee now? Yeah, it appears so. So let's speed it up and look at Mazdamundi as he tries to kill his enemy. And, make them a bit more effective. No. Yeah, he also died. Now let's end it now. End the battle. See where we are. We've lost half our army. And they've lost just about as much as we did. They had about the same number. There's just less remaining. They've lost their lords, which might be a good thing. And thing is though, these Amirola horsemen are some of the toughest to deal with. Chaos Chariot is virtually unharmed. But that is what happens though when you beat back their infantry numbers. This is kind of my game. I try to rout the infantry, and then I'm disregarding their cavalry and chariots because they're so tough to kill. I mean, and they do damage, of course, but so do the infantry if you ignore them. So I pick targets that I think I can take on, and then switch to lords and. But of course, that's just my approach. If you have another way to play this faction and that you feel is more effective, do let me know. Put it out in the comments and let's discuss. As I said, this campaign and this faction is as new as it is to me as it is to you. If it is new to you even, it's just it's completely new to me. And I have played Total War before, just not this particular story and faction. Now, mentioning story, this is said to be a more story-driven campaign, and we've seen different game companies try and add story to the games, like the Star Wars, the latest MMO, Knights of the Old Republic is story-driven, also has a lot of voice acting. Now, we could comment on the voice acting of Mazdamundi. It's just not not too much to make out. God, this load is taking long. But the story, it's kind of like an RPG element. If you are an RPG player, do let me know. I used to play KOTOR and Baldur's Gate, still play Baldur's Gate every now and then, and I do enjoy that. But well, in terms of Total War, that's kind of a new element that is being fleshed out more. It's been introduced before, but now it's really being fleshed out. And thing is though, if you feel that's been done sufficiently, or that it should be disregarded altogether because this is simply a Total War game and roleplay has nothing to do with it, and well, yeah, I'd like to hear. I'm myself, I'm the kind of person who does like the roleplay element, to rename my characters, to do it in a lawful way. And if you compare to for example the Third Age Total War series, I'm doing 3 playthroughs with them as well. I have actually my own set of roleplays house rules in that campaign. So where my generals can't die. If they do, and I can't avoid them being killed after doing replays. So there I should replay battles. Then I lose the campaign, for example, and I do no adoptions, and just to have my own set of family starting generals that bind together and lead their armies throughout the rest of the story. So. But that is me fantasizing my own story that is partially true to the Tolkien lore and partially my own imagination. However, here it's like more spelled out for you. It's bound to the missions, and one of the things that MMOs always suffered about is missions of the type like go and kill 5 units of this, go collect 5 types of that, and those were your missions, but they never really meant any story. So there's a question if the kind of approach they've chosen for this game really does bring a story in RPG, or if it's just a gimmicky kind of addition. Now, kill and eat gives us replenishment, exterminate gives us XP, and releasing gives us treasury. I'm gonna go for the replenishment right now. We're not in our own territories. We've lost a considerable number of units. These guys are replenishing those though, so we can't really capitalize on our success here unless we replenish at least a bit. And I'm abhorred by the speed at which this game came back to campaign after a battle. I've done a number of battles in my other series and never took this long. So It's quite awful. These guys, the turn has passed, so what they just lost, they made up most of it. And I bet there has to be some kind of new lord over there. And I think there's a mission for us to win like 5 battles or so. No? No. Alright. We just have to research, which is completed in 1 turn. Now in terms of money, we do have cash, we're just negative on income. Which I guess is interesting. Now here we are with our lord, who is going to see if there's anything here to explore. Why can't? This is a rune. And we can't research it. Well, let's just colonize it then. There was no Skaven here. And now they want us to take the whole of the province. It's gonna reap 7 plaques. Well, that's nice. So Maku Peaks is in another province, and it's also a province capital. It's undeveloped, so we're gonna have to invest some money to actually have any actual rewards out of it, and then we're also gonna run our cash dry. Now the Lord can't do any more. I want him to investigate that sea corpse on the next turn. This is of course, well, I thought I was gonna investigate a rune, and now I have another settlement, which is costing me money rather than bringing anything. And for now, I'm gonna move Mazdamundi here and replenish just a little bit of our forces. To keep a bit of balance, I might actually merge the lowest 2 of these 2, and that keeps us alive at least for like 3 more turns. At the same time, oh, these guys are all in forced march stance. I should have noticed, because that makes them spawn on the map, on the battle map, with fatigue. And now are we recruiting? No, we're not. Can I still attack them now without going into no, I've basically used up my movement points. I wish I'd seen that sooner. Because fatigue really does a lot to your army. And of course they're going to be out of march stance in the next turn. And then there's also going to be a garrison here. So basically we've accomplished nothing. Well, that said, this is very hard. You might prefer to actually play at another difficulty level. If so, do let me know what you think is the preferred difficulty level of gameplay. Unfortunately, we are through our time for the first session, so let's take the measure of the game based on the experience so far. Is the game worth playing it to you? And let me know in the comment down below. Then there's tons of stuff to discuss for later, and I have things that I didn't even get around to mention. So for now, this concludes our episode for today. If you have questions that you'd like me to answer for you, put them in the comments, and also any questions that you might have for other players that you'd like to see answered, just drop them there along with the rest. And thanks for participating really in that comments discussion. Thanks also for watching, if indeed you have to this point, and if you appreciated my efforts creating the video, leave a like. If you want to stay updated, do subscribe, and see you next time.